Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of the Smith and Black channel here at Ticker Talker, and we finally got a little action here in the morning. So SPY does this. SPY gaps down, right? However, still did not take out last week's lows, right? So it does not surprise me to back and fill a little bit. We want to watch these 60s, right? To see what's going on here. There's a ways to disseminate a gap, right? So we want to watch now that we have a new 60. Does this continue by taking out the highs, or do we back off? Right now, a lot of things coming back up. If we go to QQQ, QQQ got close to, but didn't take it out. It starts roaring back here. So one of the things we want to look for here is, do we had any commonality to the rally back? And we did. Is SMH here. And SMH, you can see this here. The gap down, that's a 2 down, and then boom, the 2-2 reversal. And if that works, you're going to get yourself potentially an outside day here on the daily. See? Take out the lows, and now going to take out the highs because you got a lot of help in there. Also stayed inside week, so we can expect the back and forth. We have that monthly, so we did prefer that downside, but once it gaps down and starts coming back, we want to see either side of that 60 right here. 2 down, 2 up, and boom, off she goes. And then you got that extra boost from AMD. AMD's got some buyback program, and so there's an outside day for that. All right, still an inside week, so we know about that. But as soon as it starts gunning up here, we can expect the outside bar once it gets into there, and that tells us to watch Xilinx because that happened while that SMH was already going. Right, so that was good. Xilinx gives you the outside day, right, and so you can take a look and just go down the line there. LRCX. Here's got a little bit more room. Take it out. What's that high? 601.33. So you got some more room on LRCX. KLAC. Got a little bit more room to be an outside day. So we're going to watch that SMH with all these guys to see if they're going to be strong enough. 302.99. Give me 303. KLAC. Let's see how that SMH is doing on the flip here. Still maintaining. You can see green on the 60. That's what we want to see if they keep buying or not on the new 60. If you go to ADI, and Analog Devices has already done it, so we knew about that. So one of the things, like I said, when you have a gap down like this and the market stabilizes and doesn't continue to fall apart, you want to look for anything that's coming back through the range to become an outside day. If you go to Marvell, boom, outside bar to start right out and got it taken care of. So that's already taken care of business. MU's got some more room, and here's where all those semis went 2-2. You see this? Gap down, 2-2 reversal. Boom, now looking for an outside day MU. If we go to Teradyne, got a little bit more room on that. And that high there is going to be 122.40, so you got a little bit more room on that. Still inside weeks, and that's why we're getting these back and forth. But minding these new 60s, really want to mind the new 60s, because another thing you want to look for on a move like this, if SPY starts to back off, right? If STAR starts to back off and you get a reversal on a 30 or a 60, how's that 30 looking? So you'd have some room before that would happen. But if that does occur, we start coming back to the previous range, then we'd be looking at stocks that take out the morning lows, right? You always want to be trading in people that have losing positions. And the reason you want to do that is you want to stop them out. Because anybody who got long during this period, whatever it was, got what they wanted. The market rallied back. But if it starts to sell off, they're going to have stops on the low of the day because we know what they told them, right? So we stick it to those guys. Another thing that we look for on the morning when you stabilize like this is anything taking out yesterday's highs here, like on SPY, nowhere near it. Because if you were short yesterday, whatever it is, you got what you wanted, this market sold off, right? And then you got a gap down, right? But if your stock starts to take out the highs and go up, we know you screwed and we're going to stick it to you. So the first thing we look for is that kind of thing. So target earnings. And the good thing about this, and right now taking a 30 up, keep sticking it to them. You're stuck in this Mulder bar right now, but let's see if we can get this thing really going, because when you look at this here, right, if you were short coming into the earnings here, you could stay short, right? But then once it gaps up into here, as soon as it takes out yesterday's highs here, over 211.68, everybody who was short yesterday screwed. boom, that's exactly where you want it, right there. And you can see how it just gone from there, right? They got what they wanted. The market gap down, everything was going their way, except the earnings beat. And so you can buy it as soon as it broke 211.68. Now it goes into the highs exhaustion risk, and that's when you get this little stall out. Doesn't mean it's going to fall apart. It just stalls out for a bit. Now see if you can get these 60s to take it into the highs. If you go to D-Dog, and so D-Dog also stuck here on the 60s, but you can, here, let's go here. Stuck inside in the 60 here, but there's your outside day, right? So once that started scounding up through here, you can look for signals in here, especially because you also want to look for things that stayed above last week's highs, right? Even on the gap down, we're still above last week's highs. So D-Dog above 82.82, right, was still above last week's highs. And here, yesterday's high was 84.08. So you could buy it as soon as it re-breaks that in anticipation of the outside day, which you get. And then we'll see if anything more comes of that. If we go to Facebook, the market's stalling out a little bit here on the 60s, but we'll see. And if you go to Facebook, and Facebook, so I'm going to write this one down. Caesar's taking out the lows right now. Facebook's got some distance to be an outside day, right? So did have that 2260 with some of that tech, but still inside weak. But this is one of the things you look for in that gap, that 2260, because the other guys that are going to panic a bit when the market starts rallying back is guys who have a profit from the short but are watching it evaporate, right? Those guys, they're going to cover, and they're going to help boost that stock. If you go to Shopee, Shop, boom, still above last week's highs, right here, above 1121.59, right? And so here, it opened below that. So as soon as it retook that, then you can also look for it to take out yesterday's highs. You're going to stop some more guys out there. Nice move for the Shopee. If we go to gold. Gold, a little stuck here on the 60, but that little Momo hammer daily still on the weekly, still good, and still you can see this bright green on here. It's just stalling out mother bar styled here, so be aware of that. Might have a stall out in gold, but so far, as far as the week is concerned, gold's still good. If we go to ENPH, ENPH, here you can see still above last week's high over here. That's got my attention. And so as soon as that broke here, last week's high was 122.85, right? So it opened below that. So when it took that out, then you can also look for it to go 2-2 day and take out the highs here. Stop them out over 126.21 for your ad, you see? And now stalling out here a little bit like a lot of the things. Still watching this SPY. Let's see if they want to keep that creeper going. And so far, trying to maintain here on that 60. All right. If you go to TTWO, great thing about here is it gapped up, but it didn't take out yesterday's high just yet. So as soon as it did that, you're in, right? Because you're still above last week's highs, right? People short this got what they wanted, market gap down. But then, boom, as soon as you take that out, all these guys are underwater. Now it stalls out a bit, so we'll see. If we go to CRM, and CRM, inside day to the upside, and it didn't gap either, right? And taking out last week's highs. It's exactly what you look for in this kind of a situation. If we go to the CrowdStrike, CrowdStrike backing off on that new 60, almost going outside day. We'll see if that sets up again because you're above last week's highs. Keeping an eye on these futures. CVS, not totally gunning, but here you go. All you got to do is like wait for the triangle E out, and here it is. Triangle E out. Stop these guys out inside 60, and boom, right back up because you're going for the measured move. Up, sideways, measured move here for the week in a nice long green month, and that's what you look for when you get to this time of the month. I like nice long red and green bars. If we go to WIX, And WIX already an outside day, so we'll see, because you can see here on the 60 if it's going to go further. Takes out one side high, slight lower low, and so the next hour gets my attention. We take out 234.70 right there, right? If we go to ZIM, and ZIM, here's your weekly. The 2 up, the 2 down, and boom, these become an outside bar of all that. Going into highs, just got some exhaustion risk, and that stalls it out with the inside 60. Also had some strength in solars. FSLR goes outside day. We'll see if that sets up again going after that week. So this level here going to be important. FSLR over 74.62. Took it out and backs off. How about Sedge? SunPower. Here, so a little bit of solar over there. And then on the gappers, Rita now backing off on the 60, but you certainly want to be aware of gap ups when the market gaps down, right? That screws people, right? We're softening up just a tad here. If we go to the downside, IOVA. Oof. And the heat is on over here, all right? So you can see that inside month to the downside now, just flaring up. A little tricky on getting in on here, but a little fast. You did have an inside 15er here. So, don't worry if they drop off on you. Sometimes they're easier than others. Tractor Supply, once again, looking for things that haven't really come up. Now, it's closer to 2260 here, but if this takes that 60 down next hour, that would get my attention because you got the market to rally back. You also have an outside week to the downside, potentially the outside month. You're getting closer here. So far, we're looking to take out 174.28 on the downside. If we go to John Deere, and John Deere still skirting the lows, albeit came up in the last hour, but certainly watching for these things. Here's your outside month to the downside, and this also gives us AGCO. And AGCO, you can see not rallying back with market. So if the market starts to roll back down, okay, market's starting to firm up again, so we'll see. If it starts to roll back, then this is what you look for. You're also taking a 2 month to the downside here. 2 up, 2 down, like a Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree, you can see that shooter down on the month. Not doing much on the day, but still inside day to the downside. Dollar Tree. If you go to ECL, and ECL, once again, not rallying back with market. This is what you're going to look for, and you got your outside month, but we'll see if that gets any worse. All right, Q's going to the high, SPY going to the high, so they're still maintaining there. I think I missed UPST on the upside. And UPST, there you go, got your outside day because we knew about that 2 week. 2 down, 2 up. Green on all time frames, stalling out here a little bit on the 60. This was a nice little inside 60 here because this is a 2 down, right? And then boom, because this is an inside bar, 2 down, boom, right back up, real nice over there. If we go to PGR. PGR, oh boy, the heat is on here, just kind of sitting here inside, not quite inside on the 60, but we'll see. Okay, market just kind of stalling around here, so we'll see. But it's important to know where you want to be looking depending on how this S&P plays out. If you go to Humana now starting to rally back with market, but we'll see if we get another reversal to the downside because it turned red on the month, and it's taking last week's lows out, right? That's something I'd want to know about, right? The 2 up and the 2 down. You can watch that with XLV, of course. Williams-Sonoma. And Williams-Sonoma now an outside month. And you can see this inside on the 60, not rallying back with the market. Should the market soften here? Looks like I'm running out of time again, like I always do, but that's okay. What's Caesars? That was just hitting the lows. Caesars just went into new lows for the day, so you can keep an eye on something like that. If you go to CTXS, let's go there. CTXS still trying to break down here, right? And you can see it just on the daily, just all sorts of problems. Outside month to the downside, that's a 3-2. Looking down to take out maybe these guys here. Certainly looking to take out the morning lows of 113.83 if we get anything to soften up here as it goes. So I'm running out of time like I always do. Always a lot of good things out there. When the market's starting to move, you just got to know where to look. That's going to do it for today. I'm Russ Smith, the Smith & Black channel here at Ticker Tacker Strat Time Report.